Hey everyone, Dev with Crime Hive, and in this true crime video, we're going to talk about a pretty bizarre case here. You're looking at an 18-year-old Jason Kutt, and he was killed from a gunshot in a state park in Pennsylvania. So we're going to talk about the details in that case, and then after that, we're going to really talk about the disturbing case of the week here, and it's with this missing pregnant Texas mom that was found dead in a boyfriend's freezer. So we're going to talk about that briefly as the disturbing case of the week. And before I get into it again, if you like these kind of true crime videos, just be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification to all to get further updates on these types of cases. So let's talk about this case here. You've got Jason Kutt, and he's an 18-year-old. And I pulled up this article here from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. And so he was shot at this Nockamixon State Park. And if you're wondering where that's at in Pennsylvania here, I've got the map here. You've got Philadelphia. It's just north of that area. And it's a state park. You know, a lot of people are there. He's with his girlfriend, and this is on Saturday, just days before. So we're looking at today's the 27th, just a couple days prior. Today's Tuesday. It was on a Saturday afternoon, about 5:15 p.m. He's out by the lake area with his girlfriend, and he is apparently just watching the sunset, and a gunshot goes through the back of his neck. So basically he gets shot in the back of the head, falls back, and his girlfriend, is obviously wondering what the heck just happened. She's looking around. She actually spots someone in an orange vest. So it appeared, she described this person as wearing hunter-related clothing. So really interesting. Here's a picture of him here next to his car. He had just graduated from high school. He passed away on Monday, so that would have been just yesterday. Today's Tuesday when I'm doing this video, so pretty recent. Here's a couple pictures of the park area. So that they're looking out this lake. Now, a couple things I want to point out about it is investigators are definitely have some leads, and we'll talk about a couple of those leads. But one of the things I wanted to point out is, I looked up, is hunting allowed there? And sure enough, hunting is allowed at this state park, and it's actually really bizarre. And I was listening to a few different news articles that talked about this, and apparently, during certain times of the season, there's certain acreage that's open where you can hunt, and it's actually connected in the same area that people are walking around in this park. So where there are people wandering around, walking around, there is hunting allowed. So it's pretty bizarre, and investigators aren't even quite sure if this is a crime. So it's pretty interesting because it could be an accident. They're trying to seek the public's help in trying to find out hunters in that area. This was about a distance of about 550 feet from what I understand. Not terribly far away. But no hunters have come forward, and it just makes you wonder, makes you ask the question too: is it a crime? Is somebody out there just randomly shooting people in the state park? Is there going to be more victims? And so this case really reminded me of the DC sniper case. I know a lot of you are familiar with that. Some of you younger may not be, because this happened back in 2002. So you've got, and I pulled up this article here and just wanted to share this with you here because it was interesting that Lee Boyd Malvo, who is in prison, apparently he got married while he was in prison. So I didn't know about that. But if you guys are familiar with that case, it's a pretty well-known case. He's with John Muhammad. They went on this killing spree in 2002. They targeted random people, in just in parking lots and just areas on the street. So just made me wonder about that, and you hope obviously that there's not going to be a string of events like that with this case, and hopefully there's quick resolution. Now, one other thing about this particular case, there was a new lead. I looked at a new article here. It's back to this article here that mentioned there was a couple vehicles that were pointed out. So they're looking to identify drivers of 3 vehicles that were in that area at the time of this. So back on Saturday about 5:15 p.m., they mentioned a couple vehicles here that are of interest. So you've got this Chevy S10 Blazer SUV, champagne colored. You have a Toyota Camry, silver colored, and then you also have this Mercedes SUV. So these are apparently vehicles that were in the area. Again, don't know if it's related to a person of interest. They're trying to get more information because we don't even know if it's really a crime. Curious about your thoughts on this bizarre case, what you think about the hunting aspect being allowed in the state park, and if you think this is a crime, if you think it may just have been a crazy accident of some sort, or if you think somebody may be out there targeting people. So wanted to point that out. Next, we're going to cover another case here, and this is really the disturbing case of the week. And so we're going to talk a couple details about this here. All right, so you're looking at 23-year-old Selena Bradley. She was murdered, and this article here, like I'd mentioned earlier, her boyfriend murders her and keeps her in his freezer. So a couple disturbing parts about this. He confessed to his daughter, who's 4 years old. So we'll just briefly talk about that real quick here. I'm not going to go too in depth on this case. And what we know is she went missing on October 16th from San Angelo, Texas. And what's interesting is there was a cryptic message on Facebook the next day, and friends and family are reading this, and they're wondering. It says listen, I'm fine, I'm okay, I just want to be left the F alone. When I'm ready to come back, I will. I have to get me and my happiness together. I'm good where I'm at. And apparently she was already found dead when this message was posted to Facebook. So and then that following Monday, police then discover her body in the freezer in this kitchen, wrapped in a blue tarp at the home of her boyfriend's house. And this boyfriend goes by the name of William James Hernandez. And this is a picture of him right here. Really, really bizarre. We still don't know the details because we're waiting on the autopsy for the results on that. But Bradley, apparently she had marks on her neck and the left side of her face that were consistent with being struck and assaulted, is what this document says. This is from People, and we know a couple parts that I really want to point out is apparently he confessed to a friend. So he actually confesses to a few people. And he says that he had done something terrible. He's going to go to prison for life. And he tells this friend that a body was in a freezer. And then the crazy part about this story as well, not to mention the body in the freezer aspect, is he then calls his 4-year-old daughter, breaks down in tears, and confesses that he had killed her. So pretty crazy. I don't think any 4-year-old should obviously want to hear something like that. And it could be pretty tragic to a young child. So pretty crazy that he did that. Police then try to apprehend him, arrest him at this car wash. He takes them on a high-speed chase. There's an accident. He fled. He flees on foot, and then he's ultimately arrested. So pretty interesting case. He's actually currently held in jail on a $1 million bond. And so that's the disturbing case of the week I wanted to point out. And I'll be back with another video, y'all. And let me know your thoughts, your comments below. And this is Dev with Crime Hive. Thanks.